is poppin', squad? It is your boy. And the Mark of Death build has been completed. For those who've been up to date, your boy got 6-piece Predators. Mark, man, it's coming. The bleeds are coming. People will fall. So without further ado, let's skip the hype. Let's get to the build. So you guys can see 402 firepower, 605 toughness, 80k skill power, with only 3,900 firearms, 9,000 stamina, and of course 2,800 electronics, the same as I run my Nomad build. So as you guys can see, you kind of see a routine here. I kind of like being over 600k toughness, so I'll do whatever I can to get there. Especially with this build, because the DPS is going to be ridiculous regardless. It's going to hit hard just because of the bleed itself. So let's get into the gun. Of course, if you guys haven't watched my last video, same gun, the house. I run the exact same talents. Vicious and Deadly are my preferred choice. You can use Predatory with this build. It'll be extremely good because you're going to be bodying people on the floor with the bleed anyways. So that's going to proc it. It's going to be really good. Or you can actually use like Unforgiving or something if you just want to be able to do more damage per bleed. So going into that, of course, it's going to be the house to be the main choice. You can use any other gun, obviously, but I prefer the house with this build. If you have a house, use that. Don't use anything else. You feel me? So going to the build itself, it's going to be a 6-piece classified Predator. You guys already know how hard this is to get, and I had blood, sweat, and tears to get this, but I finally got it, so I'm pretty hyped. Mine's going to be rolled towards stamina, enemy armor damage, and health, and the reason I don't have skill 8 is because if I'm not going to be able to heal myself well anyways, I don't really care about getting my heals back as much. My whole preference is to hit as hard as possible while maintaining toughness, so I'm going to have health and enemy armor damage rolled on this. My 2 mods are going to be firearms mods because I will be having everything rolled towards stamina, because that's the only way to be able to achieve around 39 firearms and have over 9,000 stamina. Going into my mask, I have crit chance roll on it just because since the bleeds do crit, you want to have as much crit chance as possible, and you're going to see that throughout the build. Crit chance is very, very important with this build, and damage to elites on minor attribute just for a little farming mechanism. Roll towards stamina. I'm going to have stamina and health on this just because I'm going to have 1 stamina mod to push me over that 8,900 threshold to get over 9,000 stamina for the build. Going into my knee pads, 7% critical hit damage and roll for stamina. The reason I chose critical hit damage is because since I'm already so tanky, I don't necessarily need both of my rolls to be health. You can if you want to be extra tanky. I probably will end up doing that just because that's like how I like playing. But I just put 7% just to get a little bit extra DPS that I'm going to be giving away on whatever else, especially since I'm not going to have around 4,200 firearms like a lot of builds do have that are running tankiness. So that's pretty good. A roll I'm going to have post critical hit chance and a firearms with crit chance mod. The only reason I put this is because I didn't have a higher firearms to break a certain threshold, but I do like additional crit chance anyway. So with pulse I go well above max, so that's really good. Going into my backpack, I have health roll with stamina. You can also roll crit damage on this if you want to, just to max out your damage while being tanky, but you don't have to. Post critical hit chance mods on both of these. Firearms mod with health. Going into my gloves, of course, native stamina, crit chance, crit damage, and SMG damage. You know, everything you need. My armor sucks, but that'll come by way of optimization later on. Going into my holster, I have crit chance rolled, and this is another opportunity where you can roll health just to be that much more tanky if you want to give us some crit chance, which will probably be a smart option since I have such high crit chance anyways. I'm probably gonna end up rolling that back to health. But if you just want to just have straight crit chance without having a pulse, you want to be sure to roll that on here. And that's pretty much the build in their roles. It's going to details what makes Predator's Mark so good. The 2 bonus is reload speed 10%. The set bonus 3 is assault rifle damage and SMG damage. So you can run either or with this build. They both benefit the same way. I prefer SMG just because you get more crits, and since you're going to be tanky, it's going to be more based off of how much damage you put on those face tanks rather than just trying to damage out with an assault rifle up close in their face. So it's going to be all preference. I mean, you can use whatever you want, but I just prefer the house with it, so that's why I say go SMG. 4-piece, hit 10 shots without switching target to make the target bleed for 50% of the damage already done by those bullets. We already know about that. Set piece 5, an additional 10% reload speed, so you have 20% reload speed, assault rifle damage, and more SMG damage, and it's still 8%. So this is the best 5-piece bonus other than Nomad that I've seen, because you get the same amount that you would get from your 3-piece, and usually they kind of nerf it down on the 5-piece and the 6-piece. This is what makes the build the Mark of Death. Hitting 10 shots without switching the target now applies the Predator's Mark, which makes the target bleed 50% of the damage already done by those bullets, which is the 4-piece, and this is the extra. The Predator's Mark ignores target's bleed resistance, so it doesn't matter what kind of resistance they have for bleed. The damage over time the target is increased by 15% for every 3,000 stamina and can critically hit the target. So if essentially if you have 9,000 stamina, it's going up by 45%, and that's before the final buff, which is the 9,000 stamina cap, which increases the damage over time by 120%. So that's why you end up bleeding people to death, and that's what makes this build so powerful. As you can see, the little Predator's logo right there, it is exactly what it is. You will hunt down your enemies. As you guys saw previously in the PTS, and as you'll see in the gameplay to follow this build, no matter what you think your firearms is, it's going to melt. So going down to the mods, I have firearms mod with health, and of course the description. Nano trackers controlled by Isaac allow the expended ammunition to magnetically pull towards other ammo inside the target. So it basically slashes you up inside, and that's what makes this build so amazing. So just to give you a brief overview, I would not run this build with under 9,000 stamina. You can, if you want your gun to hit extremely hard base-wise, and then just rely on the pure raw damage that you can get from this, and the 45% bleed. Well, you still need 9,000 for 45%, but just the normal bleed with the raw damage that you can roll firearms on this and hybrid it in a kind of way, try to make up how you want. But if you want the maximum benefit on what makes this build as powerful as it is, get over that 9,000 stamina cap. I don't care what people say. Please try it out before you knock it. It has to be 9,000 for you to feel tanky and destroy at the same time. You can't heal yourself, but every build needs a flaw, and that is of course the flaw of this. That's why I feel Nomad beats it in some senses, because you still be able to kill while be able to survive. You won't be able to survive as much, so I wouldn't recommend this as a solo build unless you're ready just to try to knock out everybody as fast as possible, because eventually you're gonna get overwhelmed because you can't heal yourself. So, but you will be able to dish out tremendous amounts of constant damage and tank anybody. In a 1v1, you're pretty much going to destroy them if they don't have Predator's Mark. So other than the fact that unless they have Nomad, they know how to use it, they're going to have a hard time, especially when they're out of medkit. So this is a medkit depleting Destroyer of Worlds tank Mark of Death build in its entirety, you guys. So be sure to roll it like this if you want to follow my set for it. This is the way I'm going to be running it. I pretty much not going to change anything as far as main stat. This is where I'm going to be. It's just optimization from here. But of course, there's room for improvement in other places that people like, and you can do that. But this is the way I like it. So go into my character sheet real quick so you guys can see 51.50% crit chance before my pulse. So I don't even need a pulse, really, honestly. I can easily replace those pulse critical hit chance mods with first aid self heal and rely on heal or whatever I want to do with that if I wanted to. Crit damage at 116, headshot at 62%, skill haste is at nothing, which is not important, but my health is at 420, so I'm only at 10,000 stamina lower than my Nomad, but I'm able to melt 4 or 5 times as hard. So that's what makes this build so amazing, you guys. If you guys got it, you are lucky. Enjoy it. It is an amazing build. You will have fun with it. Thank you guys for watching. This is and was the Mark of Death build for 1.8 PvP. Thank you guys for watching. Much love. Your boy is out.
If you want to clear your manhunt, reach the indicated location.
An agent
If you want to